Good morning, everyone. Good morning. I thought there was a special music, so I was waiting for this. I guess not. Let me see. Okay. Oh, color purple. We have to change our lamp. Oh, okay. So, good morning again and happy Sabbath to you. How was your Thanksgiving? Good? Hopefully you didn't get too much turkey this year. No romaine lettuce. I don't know. I like romaine lettuce, one of my favorites, but when E. coli happens and it's romaine lettuce, and oh yeah. But we thank God for our the recent rain, so it cleared it up. Almost 2 weeks we have waited. Oh, I couldn't get a hike for 2 weeks, and it was too harsh. But we have a clean air back, and we're thankful for that. And there's a website, purpleair.com, and you can check the air quality. And there's some decent app too. So because of the wildfire last year and this year, I just happen to know before clean air and blue sky, and I didn't care that much, but now I understand how important it should be. Today's sermon title is The Last and the First. And as you guess, this is the Matthew chapter 20th chapter, talks about the last and the first. And if you have your Bible with me, and turn Matthew chapter 20, and we're going through back and forth. So let's go. For the kingdom of heaven is like a landowner who went out early in the morning to hire men to work in his vineyard. So we are dealing with several parables recently. And I hope this is one of your familiar parables. Verse 2, he agreed to pay them a denarius for the day and sent them into his vineyard. So the rest of the verses, you know that there's a guys in the early morning and let them in, and the 3rd hour and 6th hour and 9th hour, and surprisingly enough, 11th hour. Which means in today's term, what time will that be? About 5 p.m., right? 11th hour. Good tip is that using the analog watch or clock and cross over, so 11 and 5. And 3 o'clock, what time is it? 9. 6 o'clock and noon, like, pretty easy. Because in Jewish, their mind, they, for example, around 6 o'clock a.m., when the sun rises, that's a 0. So they count from the sunrise. So 1st, 2nd, 3rd. So that's 9 o'clock. So 3 hours and 10 o'clock. In verse 6, about the 11th hour he went out and found still others standing around. He asked them, "Why have you been standing here all day long doing nothing?" We're sorry about that. He didn't get picked up yet. Still idling, wandering around. In verse 7, because no one has hired us, they answered, he said to them, "You also go and work in my vineyard." I intentionally picked up this New International Version for this Bible text. Well, from the beginning, there was a New International Version. I'm going to pinpoint one word here. To understand heaven, we should understand the landowner's mind. In NIV, it simply says, "You also go and work in my vineyard." But in the original text, there's no word for work. There's 7. And King James Version and New King James Version and English Standard Version has it there, right? And can you see the difference between two verses? New King James, at this time, they said to him, "Because no one hired us," he said to them. And he simply says, "You also go into the vineyard, and whatever is right, you will receive." So, this is exactly what the original text says. There's no word for work. So in the landowner's mind, his most desirable intention was to get them in, whether or they are working. But I believe that he worked so hard. This is parable, but this is story. But I believe that the person who, at the last moment, he got hired, and I'm pretty sure that he worked hard for the landowner because they were so grateful to him. So he worked hard. But the original meaning of this Bible text, there is no word for work. The landowner's mind is that not very enthusiastically interested in whether this guy is working or not, but his major point is he should be in the kingdom. He should be saved. In other words. In verse 8, it moves on. So when the evening had come, the owner of the vineyard, I'm reading now New King James Version, vineyard, and said to his steward, "Call the laborers and give them their wages, beginning with the last to the first." So there's one problem here. Everybody was happy, everybody got picked up and worked inside the vineyard, and I believe that they worked hard. But the landowner intentionally began to settle with the money. The early morning risers who got picked early, and if he began to give the money from the early risers, and no problem at all, but he intentionally gave the last one first. So verse 9 says, when those came who were hired about the 11th hour, they each received a denarius. Interesting, huh? Only 1 hour work and they got a day's salary. Wow. Our dream will come true. Now, some countries, they work only three days a week. Can you believe that? In the United States, some companies, they run 4 days a week. Only work 4 days. That's a very good deal. Monday through Thursday and Friday, Saturday, Sunday off. Some other countries, only 3 days. 11. And when they had received it, they complained against the landowner, saying, "These last men have worked only 1 hour, and you made them equal to us, who have borne the burden and the heat of the day. What does it say? The early morning risers or the early comers, when they see the last person received full day salary, 1 denarius, and they have a very intense, well, sometimes bad expectation, but sometimes good expectation. Oh, it could be more for me because I had worked more than this last person. But immediately they began to grumble. It's not fair. What do you think? It's not fair? What would you like to be? Would you like to be the last person or the early person? I can give you a tip. If you want to make yourself miserable, unhappy, grumbling, start comparing something you have and something others have. Something they have done and something you have done. Very simple. When we are complaining all the time, this is what it says. A neuroscientist, Dr. Rick Hansen, he says, negativity stimuli produce more neural activity than do equally intensive positive ones. They are also perceived more easily and quickly. Interesting comment. Because we are living in a simple nature, in a simple world. We can easily complain for anything. As the cartoon says, the doctor said, "I'm afraid your complaining is chronic." And what does the guy say? "I want a second opinion." Exactly, complaints. So, he says, our brains are similar to us as humans in the sense that they too do not want to work any harder than they have to. So repeating behaviors causes your neurons to branch out to each other and make information more easily transferred. Our brain wants efficiency. So when we begin to complain in brain functions, for example, if we have to build a bridge, why don't we? It is a silly idea to put a bridge, the temporary bridge each time, like this. When we complain, and brain neurons rewires, and they begin to put not temporary bridge, but permanent one. So when another complaint situation comes to us, they begin to easily complain. So the more you complain, the more easily you can do that. You can be an expert in that. I like what she says, Oprah Winfrey. She says, be thankful for what you have, you will end up having more. If you concentrate on what you don't have, you will never, ever have enough. This is all our attitude. Can you see yourself that it is much, much easier to complain for anything than rejoice in Christ and happy about what you have done? Any situation. This vineyard story, the first risers, they should be more happy than the last one because they were the chances were given to them early in the morning, and they don't worry about the rest of the day. They should work. But the last moment, the guy who were in, probably he had excruciating hours. Wait until they got hired. This is Yad Vashem, Israel. It's their term of a Holocaust museum. In Holocaust story, it reminds me of the Oscar Schindler. Do you remember the Schindler's List, the movie? I just searched around and this is what I found. He was born in April 28, 1908, and he died 1974, October 9. But he rescued, it is said, more than 1,100 Jewish people. They could have gone to the Auschwitz, the concentration camp, the gas chamber, but he was doing some Good Samaritan act, and he hired and worked for the ammunition, the factory. One hand, he began to sabotaging the work so that the produce line gets always late, produce enough ammunition. But on the other hand, he hired the Jewish people. It's a rescue mission. And some point, 1944 or 45, some point, he hired 1,750 employees in that factory. And it is said over 1,000 it's Jewish. That's a little video clip here. Please don't touch anything until I connect this. And if I give you a sign, you just simply raise the volume. Okay. Oops. Okay. Are you ready?
It's Hebrew from the Talmud. It says, whoever saves one life saves the world entire.
I could have got more.
Oscar, there are 1,100 people who are alive because of you. Look at them.
If I'd made more money. I threw away so much money. You have no idea. If I just...
There will be generations because of what you did.
I didn't do enough.
You did so much.
This car. Good, what about this car? Why did I keep the car? 10 people right there. 10 people. 10 more people. There's been 2 people. This is gold. 2 more people. You would have given me 2 for at least 1. You would have given me 1 more. 1 more person. A person who stand for this. I could have got 1 more person. And I didn't. I didn't.
So the war is almost over, and Germany got defeated. And as a Nazi party, he has to leave at the moment because the Russians is coming to this factory. And the last day, he gathered all the employees and saying that you are free to leave now, and they are going to give him the ring to give him some gratitude. And the ring says, the ring was inscribed, and whoever saves one life saves the world entire. And he was so touched. And when he saw the car, luxurious car, and oh, why did I keep this car so far? If I sell this one, and I could I can hire 10 more people. And there's a gold pin here. Beside this, I can, if I sold this and I got 2 more people. This one is one more people. He was so kind of regretful at the last moment. But the people got hired in this the factory. So to speak, the early risers, they are not complaining about the last comers because they are so thankful. They can say it. And because to save those employees, he had to give some bribes to the SS the agent, and at the last moment, his business is almost bankrupt. He had to go. The rest of the verse is here. But he answered one of them and said, "Friend, I'm doing you no wrong. Did you not agree with me for a denarius? Take what is yours and go away. I wish to give to this last man the same as you do. Is it not lawful for me to do what I wish with my own things? Or is your eye evil because I'm good?" So the last will be first, and the first last. For many are called, but few chosen. There are so many things we can be thankful. Actually, this story comes directly from Marianne. And that particular morning, was it afternoon? Marianne just called me and Pastor, pray for me, for my cousin. And because of the campfire, they had to flee. And the message was they had to walk on foot. The moment they had to abandon their vehicle. There are some people inside the vehicle and burned to death, right? And it is from the Mercury. Literally says, we were sitting ducks to be burned in our vehicles, and if I was going to die in a forest fire, Richard Gore said, I'd rather die with my wife trying to get away than sitting in a vehicle dying. But even Marian phoned me asking pastoral prayer. I'm so helpless. If I pray, can it be changing something, the situation? But I prayed. But thank God, eventually they got through it and they're alive. And so a touching story, and I was reading this article and I was so moved. He was calling the last call to his son Micaiah. His son, this might be the last moment ever I can say you love you or say goodbye. But thank God, in the midst of the miserable things, and there's always some hope. You know, we got some car accident, and if we are saved from the car accident, and we are so thankful for that. Lord, thank you, you saved me. But you know what? If we are not getting involved in any accident and still alive, no hurt, you should be much more thankful to that. Did you know that? So the reason why I'm so thankful, we are just collecting our ideas and evidences there. What should we be thankful for? No. If you are still alive today, you have health enough to walk down to this church and worship together, it's much more than that. Praise the Lord. So many things we can be thankful. Proverbs says 17:22. A merry heart does good, like medicine, but a broken spirit dries your bones. Surely it's medically, scientifically proven. Broken heart, afflicted, smitten, unmercifully beaten. So in a state of grief and hopelessness, that's a broken heart. No, don't remain in that situation. You cannot go always happy, go merry stuff. But we can choose our delightful, can be delightful. That's why it says, Philippians 4:4, it says, rejoice in the Lord always. Again, I'll say rejoice. This is the invitation from God. We can be rejoiced all the time, regardless of our circumstances and situation, what is happening to you. Because of Jesus. He's the reason we can be rejoicing all the time. When you think of your situation, right? Think higher. Okay, there's God and Jesus. The fact that Jesus saved us, saved you. It is our turn to say thanks. It is our time to give thanks to God. Simply because He saved us. And you are still alive. We have hope. What do you need more? That's good enough. That's the only hope we can have at this time. Again, rejoice in the Lord always. Again, I will rejoice. It should be your testimony today. It should be my testimony. Okay, shall we rise and have a closing hymn together?